So it happened to me this morning.
What happened?
I was driving along, and then I saw it. The Paradise Valley cop car. And
You got pulled over?
I thought, oh. So when I saw him, I went like, stop.
Yeah, I wasn't speeding.
No, okay.
I've been going 10 this whole time,
Car
officer.
goes like that and goes back up, right?
Oh.
And then I'm like, okay, so then now I'm going like 22. Okay, I was going through a school zone.
Kim Komando.
Okay.
What were you going before? It's summer.
There's no school. There's no like.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Okay, there's no signs up. There's nobody around. Okay, and then I look in my rearview mirror and I'm like, okay. I mean, just put the lights on.
How fast were you going?
So I turn the corner.
She doesn't want to say.
She won't disclose that here.
I will tell you.
Does it rhyme with smatey smate miles per hour?
So I turn into the first thing, first little street.
Yeah.
And he comes over to the car and he says, and he's very nice. And he said, I'm Officer so-and-so with the Paradise Valley Police Department. Do you realize that you were speeding? And I said, you know what? I didn't.
You didn't realize it or you didn't speed?
I said,
She didn't realize it.
and he said,
You just admitted to it.
you were going 33 and a 15.
Oh, come on, dude.
And I said, well, school's not in session. There were no signs out.
Mhm.
And he said, and you have no license plate. And I said, well, it's a brand new car.
I've been meaning to bring that up to you. I was going to ask if you've been pulled over.
Did you have one like in the glove box?
No. And then he says, and you have the windows tinted. I said, yeah, but let me tell you, they're not dark because I want to be able to see through at night. So don't even tell me that they're dark.
Did he put one of those meters on it?
He didn't have his meter on him.
There's a meter?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he said, and you have the front windshield.
You can't even you can't do that at all.
And I said, I did not tint the front windshield. And he said, do you have a driver's license?
Let's hope. 1 out of 8.
And I said, I have that. And so I open my wallet. You haven't seen my wallet, but it's like this little tiny wallet. It has like all kinds of crap and cash and all
Right.
kinds of air tags and just like everything's all flying out. And I'm like, it's in here somewhere. It's in here. He says, where are you going? I said, I'm going to work. And he says, so what do you do? I said, I do a radio show. And he said, how many are you on the local station? I said, no, I'm on like 500 stations. And he looked at me and goes, I said, and I looked at him, I pointed my finger. I was like, I don't talk politics. Okay, so don't even. And he starts laughing. And then he says, so do you have insurance? And I said, I assure you, I would not drive this car without it.
You don't have a license plate. What made you think that he's going to trust that you have insurance?
So I give him the insurance, and he says, so this is a brand new car. I said, yeah, that's why I don't have the plate yet. And he says, so do you have a registration? I said, you know what? I know this is going to sound a little strange. And I'm a very intelligent woman. But I don't know where the registration is. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I have this guy, Roger. Great guy.
You're diming out Roger?
I said,
Yeah.
Roger's working on the registration for me. And he's like, so is he like your house manager? I said, no. I said, if you ever need a Mercedes, he's over at Scottsdale Mercedes. He's a great guy.
Great guy.
He is. He's a wonderful guy.
Hi, Roger.
And he said, you know what? Let me take what you have. And I'll go on my truck.
What's he going to do? He's got no information.
I don't
He
know.
had her name? He had her license?
Well, he said he's going to look up the VIN for the car.
Oh, Vin.
Oh.
Okay.
And I said, so you think I stole the car? And he's like, has no license plate and you have no registration.
I don't know you.
Those are 2 steps towards Grand Theft Auto.
I said, do I look like a car thief?
It takes all kinds, Kim.
Okay. So, and then I call Roger and I said, Roger, I said, Roger, I need my registration. I text him because he didn't answer. And I call Amber. I said, Amber, I just got pulled over. Do you know where my registration is? She says, oh, and then she goes, and then she was talking. I said, oh, wait, Roger's called me back. So then I get Roger. Roger's like, well, I got to call the guy. I was got to call the guy. And you were supposed to have dealer tags. Do you have the dealer tag? I said, I don't know where the dealer tag is. And I don't know where the registration is. But I got this nice Paradise Valley cop who was actually very good looking. And I was like so tempted to say, you know what? You should be like on a show. I mean, he had like perfect teeth.
A show.
Going to suck up to the cop?
No, he was a good
He
thing.
was gorgeous.
She broke
He-
like
no,
9
he was.
laws.
He was. So then he comes back, and I said, "Here, look, I got the registration." I said,
Oh, you found it.
"It was on my phone." Amber texted it to me,
Oh,
and I said,
amazing.
"This," and he goes, "Oh, No wonder why we couldn't find it. You registered in the state of California. I said, yeah. I said, that's where. I said, that's why it says Woodland Hills on the back. I said, that's in California. I said, I tried to get an allocation here in Phoenix from pesky Porsche,
Mhm.
but the guy wouldn't give me the time of day. So I had to go to California in order to buy the car. I said, it took 2 years for me to. He goes, it took 2 years to buy this car. I said, yeah. I said, now let's talk about this. I want you to show me where you think that I tinted the front window. I said, I'm going to get out of the car. You cool with that? He's like, oh, yeah, get out of the car. I'm like, okay. So I got out of the car and I said, no, so where do you see the tinting? And he goes, oh, well, he said, I'm not really familiar with the Porsche. He said, so maybe this is just what comes with the car. I said, I think this is what comes with the car. I said, because if you look, it's not the same color as the sides. I said, so now we don't have to worry about the tinting.
Just
So
talking
just
away.
erase that from your pad.
And he said, yeah, but you still have no license plate. I said, I'm working on that. Working on it. And he's like, oh, all right. And he says, this is a beautiful car. I said, yeah. I said, but you want to know the coolest thing with this car? I said, this is the greatest thing with this car. He goes, what? I said, yeah, pull up. I pull up and I valet park in the car at a restaurant. And the kid looks at me and he says, name on the car. And I open the door and I point. And I said, because I had it ordered
Mhm.
where the baseboard would you get in the car and each side it says Komando.
Oh, that's cool.
And he looked at me and goes, that's amazing. I said, I know. It's really something. He goes, you know what? Just go.
You got out of all the tickets?
He said, just go. He said, go to work. He said, figure out the whole registration, figure out the whole license plate.
Get your life together.
And he said, and don't speed. Don't speed. He goes, we have these little R2D2s all over Paradise Valley.
Mm.
And I didn't want to tell him, I get pictures in the mail all the time. So I was like,
Thank God you didn't tell him.
and, and they're so expensive. And it's a horrible photo, too. I mean, it's all grainy. And
Well,
everything.
it's, at that speed, it's hard for any camera to capture an image.
So, yeah, so that was my.
I can't believe you got out a ticket. Nice work.
And then while I'm talking to him, Ian calls me. He's like, hey, I just drove by you, Mom. You got pulled over. Oh, another bad parenting moment. Okay. Yeah, so that was my
What
morning.
an exciting day.
Are you going to go get your tinting checked out? See if you're rolling legal, or are you just going to roll the dice?
I'm not going through Paradise Valley anymore.
She'll go around.
She'll bypass Mesa, Tucson, then to the office.
Going around Phoenix. Yeah. So, so that's.
Also,
to get
why
license
do you
plate.
think that you couldn't be a car thief? There's female car thieves out there, attractive female car thieves. That's sexist. You think women can't be car thieves? Women can do anything in 2024.
Well, I was accused of being a car thief.
Oh,
You know this?
yeah.
I told you the story.
Yeah.
I was accused of being a car thief. Okay.
What happened?
In Montecito, Tony Montecito, there is a lovely resort by the name of the Rosewood. And they have a nice restaurant there called Caruso's. Okay, if you ever get there, you want to go to Caruso's.
Is this the story with the valet?
Yes.
Yes, you told us on the podcast.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So in case you missed that, but
Yeah.
we don't want to tell the story again. But
It's a long one.
the valet thought I was going to steal a Mercedes. I'm like,
Your own car.
my own car. Ding dong. And on that happy note, welcome. It's Kim Komando Today, not your convicted felon.
Almost.
I'm going to get. I do have a license plate.
Where is it?
I don't know. I got a
Roger has it.
Yeah.
Roger.
It's all Roger's fault. Go arrest Roger.
Okay, and so everybody, if you're in Phoenix, just call Roger Day up and say, Roger, Kim Komando got pulled over because
Please
of you.
send her her plate.
Yes, exactly. So this is your fun podcast, a couple of days a week, 3 times a week, is that we talk about all things digital. We also talk about our lives, so as you can tell, it's more personal. And if you're looking for the Kim Komando show, well, we have some big news. This is major, major news, is that now for the first time, you can get the Kim Komando show as a podcast. That's right.
Woohoo.
With commercials, of course. And so wherever you get your podcast, search for Kim Komando Show. Now, if you don't want to hear the commercials,
Yeah.
then you have to pay for it. The
Okay.
podcast, just a couple bucks a month.
Every podcast has commercials.
I know,
We're used to it by now.
but some people are like, "Oh, Kim Komando, there's so many commercials," but somehow they think like, I can look like this for free.
Yeah, no, it's expensive. Same price as upkeep of a Porsche.
That Porsche didn't buy itself.
What do you got, Andrew?
We have a bank that is using AI technology like I never thought before, and it's actually to help their employees out.
Excellent. What do you have?
Wow, I have a little game show for you two. Could you be a presenter at Apple's WWDC? We will find out.
No, the answer is
I think
Spoilers.
I would love to do that.
you would.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
rock it.
And I was watching it with Barry, and Barry's like, "So are bell bottoms in now?"
Is everybody wearing bell bottoms?
Yes.
Everybody has like wide leg jeans.
Yeah, everybody's wearing bell bottoms except for the guys. They weren't.
Yeah.
wearing the bell bottoms.
I watched a little bit of it, and it prompted me to make a decision. And my new Samsung phone just got delivered today.
Whoa!
I'm out of the Appleverse.
Why?
Because they don't update the phone. The technology is so far behind. The gap is so big. I went and used an S24 Ultra. It is so fast. It's ridiculously fast that I just bought one.
Kim is about to be
I'm surprised.
the odd man
I'm out.
out.
I'm out.
I know you're the Pixel Queen.
I'm Pixel, Samsung,
What do you
Wow.
have?
Oh, I have an iPhone.
and this
Ew.
eye dork over here.
Dork. Okay, this is where Andrew, you do the pitch for like, comment, share, follow.
Yeah, if you're watching the podcast, please just drop a like. Follow the Kim Komando podcast. If you're on YouTube, it's the easiest and best way to watch it. And then just share it with someone. If you enjoy the podcast, someone you know is going to enjoy it. I enjoy it. I shared it with someone, and they watch every single day now. So it works.
Is that your current girlfriend?
It is. It is. Still currently current.
I got an email from somebody who said like he really enjoys Allie being here, of course, and then he said and Adam talking about his current girlfriend.
I love that. People in on the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're having fun. We're having fun. So do
Totally.
us a favor, like, comment, and share. We appreciate it. It helps the show.
All right, so these are top 5 things happening tech that you should know, and we're going to start with Uber. Okay, we all know what Uber is.
Mhm.
Of course.
Well, I didn't know this that there's like an Uber with guns.
An Uber with guns?
Yes.
What now?
It's called Black Wolf. And these rideshare drivers, they have to have at least 4 years of experience in police, military, or private security. They do pack guns.
So you're not in your Uber and like target practicing while the drive is happening.
the
you
driver.
don't have the gun. The driver has the
Oh,
gun.
driver has
that's
the gun.
less fun.
Why?
So for high profile people,
Okay.
and they tried to roll it out here in Phoenix.
Tried?
Yeah, and then after like 2 days, it was like, "Oh, do you have all the permits for all that
Ah.
stuff?"
Ooh.
No, Roger's got him. Just call Roger. He's got all of our gun permits.
So anybody gets pulled over in Phoenix, just say, Roger. Roger has my insurance, my driver's license, my plate, my registration.
Okay, real fast. If this all happened to you, the Kim situation from this morning,
Right?
do you think you would have gotten a ticket?
Yeah.
I think Andrew
Of
would have gotten
course.
at least 3 tickets.
But I also wouldn't have tried to weasel my way out of it. I would have accepted my responsibility as a citizen of this fine state.
But when he did ask me when we were talking, I said, the show's not politics. He's like, well, what is it? I said, I talk about like consumer electronic stuff. I said, a lot of internet safety, a lot of safety.
I'm helping people. You're keeping me from work, and I'm trying to help people.
So you can get a Black Wolf ride for the price of an Uber Black in Atlanta, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so the most expensive Uber ride you're looking at.
Exactly. All right. Little stranger danger alert. So if somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, my iPhone doesn't work. Can I borrow your Pixel or can I borrow your Samsung?"
Right.
And you're like, "Oh, sure. You need to make a phone call," and then you hand them your phone. Is that what they're going to do? Is of course try to make a phone call, but they're going to try to find your Venmo app or whatever,
Oh.
and then steal all your money.
See, that will never
that.
happen to me. Because I would never let someone use my phone.
If someone
Ever.
if it was an emergency situation, what would you do?
Can I call
Can
someone
I call
for you?
someone for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do too.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is that coming in at number 3. There's that term that a lot of Gen Zers use, NPC,
Yes.
Yeah.
a non-playable character. So like
But it's now slang. So it's like anyone's a dud or not cool. They're an NPC.
Yeah.
they're an NPC. They're an NPC. Well, now what's happening on social media is that people are getting in political fights, and they're calling each other a bot.
Yeah. Okay.
You're such a bot.
How dare you?
Yeah. So if you want to be mean on social media, you say, "You are a bot."
All right. I'll remember that.
I'm going to call Kim today.
Sticking with our police theme today,
Oh.
in Las Vegas, this is the funniest story. This may even be funnier than my jokes.
Yeah, probably will be.
Yeah.
Okay, this 53-year-old guy goes into the bank with his iPad.
Right.
Okay, and shows the teller his iPad with the note that says, "I am heavily armed."
Oh, it's the 21st century bank robbery.
Yes. Could you imagine? Give me the
All your
cash. Give me the
Could
cash.
you enlarge the screen
Yeah,
a little
how big
bit?
do you think the font was?
80s?
that.
Got to be in the 80s.
Okay. His iPad trick worked.
Meaning he robbed the
walked
bank?
out. He walked out with $1,000.
That's all he wanted?
Is $1,000 a successful bank robbery?
I don't think so.
And then he got arrested.
Yeah.
Yes.
He only had he didn't even have enough money to bail himself out from his robbery.
Well, he probably had a cheap iPad Mini too.
That's
So
right.
It didn't work.
Or was it one of those knockoff ones?
But couldn't you just imagine? I mean, the guy's sitting there, he's thinking, "I need some money.
Yeah.
I need some money." So let's see. Wow, got an iPad. I'm going to go rob a bank with my iPad,
He should have just texted them.
He should have sold the iPad.
Yeah.
and then I'm just going to write, "I'm heavily armed," but I'm busy holding up the iPad.
It'll take me a second to get to my gun.
All right. So show me how you make a heart. Coming in at number 5. Nope. Mm-mm.
Nope.
We're losers.
Nope. You're losers.
We're old losers.
You want to go like this now?
How?
I know. I can't do it.
No, you
Which
can do it.
fingers?
You take your middle finger.
Isn't that what I did?
No.
No, you're using your thumb. We're not using
Oh.
a thumb.
No thumb.
Okay, no, we're using this finger,
This is a diamond.
and that no, you curve it over.
Is that the middle finger that's on the back?
Yes. See?
I don't have the dexterity for
I
this.
don't like this one.
These fingers are blocking everything.
No, you turn it down. Look, like that. See? Come on.
Nope.
Oh God, look at that.
Look at his fingers quiver.
Can't do
Come
it.
on, you can do it.
My nails are
Give me
kind
a
of slipping.
second.
Oh wait. There it is. That's there you got it.
Oh, that person needs to go see their doctor if that's their heart. There are some clogged
Heart
arteries.
problems.
I can see the heart. Okay, what about you? You got it?
I think my like nails are slipping on each other. I can't keep steady.
You do it very well.
I can't do it. You're good at it.
Yeah, see, look. That's it.
Oh, she starts on the bottom
yeah, you
she
start at the
does.
bottom.
and
You
then
start
touch
at the bottom.
Did you
and
see her like
curve.
work right into it? Oh wait.
No. I just do this.
Look, I did it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did it. Oh, see, look at that.
That's good.
I just do this.
Okay, you
Right there.
you have to touch your one nail to the finger.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
you have
out.
to. You have to hold. I will tell you that I did practice
Why do we have to do it this way?
Gen
because
Z.
this is the Gen Zer way.
Which way? But that's not the way Taylor Swift does it, right?
No, she does the
Yeah,
millennial.
she does
person
that.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, that's not. I like this one.
I like this one.
Yeah,
too.
it's thicker.
It is. I think it means it's
Have
more.
you seen this one?
Which one?
People do it on their face. No kidding. You make half a heart and you put the rest. Like there's
Like
a bunch
that?
of pictures of celebrities like that. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, I love you,
Do you have my license plate?
Roger.
God, poor. We should send this to Roger. We're going to send you this,
Yeah.
Roger. We love you.
Famous.
You're famous.
You know, speaking of hearts,
Oh.
what's the matter?
I'm waiting
Why?
because I know a joke's coming. Speaking of leads to
Every
lame
time.
joke
Every
every time.
That's true.
Not all my jokes are lame.
No, that's fair.
That's true.
Okay.
I'll be open-minded. Go ahead.
I don't see open-mindedness in your face.
How do you want me to look to be open-minded?
Make the little face heart.
Yes. Can you make the face? No, not that.
Oh, this one?
This one.
Go ahead. I'm a little teapot.
You know, many claim that heart attacks are one of the worst ways to go.
No,
Many people,
absolutely.
yeah. I disagree.
Do you?
Yeah, bear attacks are definitely worse.
So stupid.
It's not stupid.
So stupid. Thumbs down. I could do that one easily.
Go ahead, do a thumbs up. That's what old people do.
Oh, wait a minute. One second.
We're have Rob in here now. Rob.
Oh, that's right.
There he is.
Hey, it's Kim Komando Today. It's your fun podcast about all things digital. And I think the iPhone contest, is it still going out?
I think it's over.
Yesterday it was
know.
still going.
Okay, it's going through the end of the weekend.
Okay. All right. So
So organized.
this is definitely your last chance. to enter
Or go back in time and you can enter for the iPhone.
because everybody wants an iPhone, Andrew.
No.
Yes.
Nobody does.
And you go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. So many people want to have their own podcasts. I mean, a lot of people, they want to be me.
At
They
my,
She can't even take herself seriously. Look at that.
That was great.
She got through it, but barely.
I host a morning show on KEZ in Phoenix, an iHeart radio station, and I just left an podcast summit with iHeart, and it was packed.
Oh,
there were
really?
so many people there.
Wow.
What was the big takeaway?
It's talking about advertising and how your podcast iHeart can use your podcast to advertise and make you some money with it.
And so do you get a little piece of the action?
Me? No, I'm an employee.
Oh.
I'm just serving the master.
I thought maybe like you could get a little something.
But the
something.
clients do. The clients that come in, they create their podcast. Not only do they get their word out and advertise their companies, but they also can make some
Oh, so
money.
doing paid programming?
No, it's part of their deal. Let's not get into the deep inner workings of it. I'm just saying you're right. Everyone wants a podcast. That's all I was saying.
Wow.
I know. I got a little snippy there. I apologize.
Yeah, me too. Kind of
Maybe time out for
sorry.
you.
timeout chair.
That's the timeout chair.
And so when it comes to podcasting, there's a guy who I know who's really like the podcast maven.
Oh, it's Joe Rogan. Welcome to the show, Joe Rogan.
It's not Joe.
Oh,
It's close. Rob Walsh. He's the vice president of podcaster relations at Libsyn. Now, Libsyn is a distributor of podcasts, and they also will sell some of the time and good things like that. So a lot of people are like, how do I get my podcast up on Apple and Pandora and Spotify? And then, that's where you want to use Libsyn because they'll make sure that your podcast is available everywhere. And, I'm so excited that, we are number 3.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Don't
Tech.
wait.
Got to be tech.
Yeah, wait. Let's bring on Rob.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
So I don't know if you heard the big news, but we were going to issue a press release about this because this podcast is now number 3 in tech and downloads.
Congratulations.
In Rwanda.
In Rwanda.
So, I mean, that is something
It's
that
big.
you're going to announce in big, bold letters, and then a couple of little letters underneath it that hopefully no one ever reads. Number 3 tech podcast in Rwanda.
I still don't know how you learned that.
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy. found
Yeah,
that.
he was doing the research.
Oh, that's great.
These are real stats.
So Rob, you've been in podcasting for 20 years.
Yes, it's been a long time.
And so what was it like in 2004?
In the early days, when I got into it, there was about 100 people podcasting.
Oh
And
my gosh.
you really, really, really wanted to listen to a podcast if you listened to them because Apple didn't support it at the time. You had to download a program called iPod X that was created by August Trometer, and you had to install that on your Mac, and then you had to sync your Mac iTunes to this program, and then you had to sync your iPod to iTunes. That was a lot of work. It was tough, and you had to know what the RSS feed was for the show and add that in manually to
So user
iPod
friendly.
X. Yeah, it was not. It was not. Yeah. Luckily, 2005, September or June of 2005, Steve Jobs made podcasting part of iTunes. And that's really when it started to take off.
And so how many podcasts are out there right now?
There's a lot of misinformation on this. So you'll hear things about 2.5 million podcasts, 4 million, 4.5 million, 5 million. The reality is, of podcasts that have released a new episode in the last 90 days and have 10 or more episodes, the number has been about 390,000 for the last 4 years. And it's gone up and down maybe 20,000 off of that. So the 390,000 is how many active podcasts are actually out there. And that is so much smaller than the number of active blogs that are in the hundreds of millions.
But still 390,000 shows vying for ears. That's a lot.
But you can do a podcast about anything, and that's the beauty. I mean, there's one out there, the Chameleon Breeder podcast. It's about breeding chameleons, not owning them, but breeding them. I mean, you get so niche.
Sounds sexy.
Yeah, there's multiple podcasts on
Daddy spanked me.
Well, there was the rope cast for that. There are podcasts that cover everything, good or bad.
Good or bad.
Now, when it comes to podcasting, how important now in 2024 is the video element? If you're going to do a podcast, should you just focus on all video? Because I see a lot of podcasts that are launching. They don't even have a podcast feed on the Apple Podcast app. How important is integrating the video?
It depends on what you're doing and what the podcast topic is about and who your audience is. If your podcast is B2B and you're trying to get a business person, the video element may have absolutely no impact on your show. But if you're looking for young, whatever the youngest generation, whatever they're calling them these days, and they're TikTokers and you're trying to get them, then maybe you need to have a video element. But you can have a very big, successful podcast with no video element. It doesn't make or break your show. And so, actually, I should take that back. I have seen podcasts that have gotten broken by going from just audio to audio and video.
Oh, wow.
Because the audio, when they did it, was very well edited and produced. And then they just tried to go to video, which then they couldn't edit as much. And they weren't very good at video. Video is a lot harder to do than audio. And it ultimately killed some podcasts. So I would say go with what your strength is. And if video is not your strength, don't worry about it. There's more time in the day to listen to audio than there is to consume any other type of medium.
Yeah, it reminds me of that song, Video Killed the
Radio star.
podcaster.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to go back to the 390,000. You know, so of course you have like shows that have like major downloads and shows that have average downloads.
Mhm.
At what point in the downloads and the listens does a podcaster sit back and say, you know what, I think that this is going to work and I think that we can start making some money at it?
So the short answer is you need to really be about 20,000 downloads an episode within the first 30 days if you really, really, really want to monetize and concentrate and start saying, okay, this is going to be my primary income. Before that, you really need 2,000 a month, all episodes combined, to really start monetizing at all.
Okay.
And the ones that get to 20,000 per episode, you're looking at the top 2% of shows.
That's what I was going to ask.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So that's we're talking only 4,000 podcasts are looking at those type of numbers.
Yep.
Out of the 390,000.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I would have thought it was way bigger number than that.
I would have thought so too. What, you know, and you've been doing this for obviously quite a while, like we talked about, Rob. What surprises you that's happening in the podcast industry, like right now, that you're kind of sitting back going like, whoa, I didn't see that coming?
Well, I think one of the things is the people over relying on going to video. I think everyone says, oh, you got to get into video, And I think how many people I've seen drop a successful or try to force video onto a successful podcast, that has been a surprise when they had a really good thing going on the audio. So I think that people thinking that they're just going to launch still and make money immediately, that still is the that hasn't gone away yet. I'm hoping someday that goes away. We joke there's two places where people pod fade. It's where they're around 5 episodes when they go, hey, this thing's harder than I thought.
It is hard. It's a lot of work.
And then the other time we see people drop is around episode 50. And that's because they said, I'm going to do this for a year, once a week. And they get a year in and they're like, wow, I got 283 listens to my last episode. This isn't working.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned that, Rob, because my sister, Christine, she's a wonderful woman.
Mhm.
She is. I mean, like, she says the rosary in the morning. She says it at night. She has a school where she helps learning disabled kids, autistic children. And it's one teacher for one student. I mean, I've seen her do miracles. I mean, like, take a child at like the age of 7 who was nonverbal and now is like 16 years old and having full conversations and talking about where they could go to college.
Wow.
I mean, just amazing. So I saw her a couple of weeks ago and she's like, you know, I was thinking I should do a podcast.
That's a very mocking tone.
She's like, you know, I watched you do your podcast and you just kind of like sit back and chat. And you
Oh, yeah.
talk. And,
You haven't been broadcasting for a quarter of a century at all.
And she's like, and so this way I can get the word out. And it was just like what you said, Rob. I was like, you know, Christine, I said, this is a lot of work. And You have to set it up, and then you have to promote it. And it's not like if you build it, they will come. They don't.
They don't come.
No. The median number of downloads is around 150 per episode.
Oh,
That's the median. That means half the shows get less than that per episode.
and that's a
Wow.
lot of work for 150 listens.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
still better than the median number of views of a YouTube video.
What's that number?
One. That's probably either
One?
0 or 1. Right? It's right about there.
That would be a great podcast, is doing a podcast about YouTube videos that only have one view.
Let's do it.
No, I don't have the time. It's too hard.
So is there a genre for the top podcast? Obviously, is it still political?
Well, interestingly, if you want to talk about downloads, the religious segment gets a lot of downloads. So I looked at Libsyn and I looked at our top, all the different iTunes categories, and religious was like number 5 in total number of shows, but it was number 1 as far as our percentage of downloads. Business podcasts, there's a ton of them. They were 20% of our shows, but they were only 11% of our downloads.
Oh, wow.
So religious was actually more downloads than that. So I thought it was funny that the religious podcast did a better job at the business of podcasting than the business podcasts.
Well, you probably have like daily reflections, daily motivational. I mean, I subscribe to the Halo app. I listen to Father Mike every Sunday, and it becomes part of
Yeah, it's part of your ritual and your routine.
part of your ritual.
What is the number one podcast genre? Is it
Number 1 podcast genre, if you're going to go by downloads, overall entire world, all the podcasts, it's probably true crime.
oh,
True crime
wow.
true crime and comedy are the top genres. And then business is in there. It is one of the other big categories. Arts, which is kind of a catch-all. But I tell people, do the podcast on the topic you want to do it on. It doesn't matter if you have 300 downloads or 400 downloads an episode. If you're in a very small niche and it's business oriented, that 400 listeners per episode could be more valuable than a comedy podcast getting 40,000 per episode.
And so, is there a best length for a podcast where it's like this is something that your research has proven?
Yeah. So that is a question that is like almost the number 1 question next to how can I make money doing this? It's like, what's the right length? And people that don't know podcasting will go, oh, 20 minutes. No. If you actually look at the top podcasts and Apple Podcasts, 70% are 40 minutes or longer. And the median is about 70 minutes, and the average is about 65 minutes for the top 200. So longer seems to be better. There's actually more podcasts in the top 200 when you look at it that are 2 hours or longer than are 20 minutes or 22 minutes and shorter.
Why is that, do you think?
And here's the theory. And people start listening to the podcast not in their car, in their kitchen, on the way to the car. And what they want to do is hit play in the kitchen, get in their car, listen to that podcast all the way to their cubicle, from kitchen to cubicle. And 20-minute podcasts don't get them from kitchen to cubicle. You need something longer. What people don't want to be doing is driving down the road and the podcast they're done listening to, now they have to go find something else. Or worse yet, turn on the radio. No offense.
No offense.
Thanks, Rob.
That's great.
Appreciate that.
Have a good day, Rob.
I'm so glad that I can call you friend.
Hey, he's wrong. Video editing is really easy. We're going to cut this interview just like that.
Actually, you know what I'm thinking? We ought to just sit down, kneel down, and pray. We'll call this Tech for Catholics. I don't know.
I would be curious to get that's hilarious. Your opinion on this. I had a big conversation with someone at my other job about this, and it was celebrity ruining podcasts. When I started listening to podcasts, it was these independent, either comedians or artists or someone who had an independent idea and started growing that from there. But now every single Christy Brinkley podcast and every single person that has a recognizable name joins into the podcast game and is celebrity ruining podcasts.
No, I think it's the management company of the celebrities that are ruining podcasts, getting the wrong celebrities to do a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that it's celebrities ruining it. Just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you're interesting.
Right.
And there are celebrity podcasts that are very good. Ozzy Osbourne has one. It's good when you can understand it. And Roseanne Barr's podcast is very good. Right? So there are celebrity ones that are great. Louis Anderson used to have a really good one before he passed, and Norm Macdonald had a good one. And Jack Welch before he passed had a really good podcast, and I would call him a celebrity. After he left GE,
For sure.
but there are many celebrities that have got into podcasting that are like, why am I doing this? Oh, yes, right, because my manager told me I need to do this. And if you get into it with day one saying, oh, time to make the donuts, the listeners know, right? Meghan Markle, perfect example of one that should never have done a podcast. She wasn't in it. She didn't care about it. She didn't want to do it. And what little she did didn't go over well.
It sounded horrible. It sounded like she was bored. Like, why am I here? And I listened to the first part of the first podcast, and it was what I was getting was like, I am royalty. I'm a star.
Oof.
And this is so beneath me, but I guess I'll do it because, well, we need the money.
Right. It's part of our deal.
But there are people that are celebs that do it and have fun, and maybe you don't even know. Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters has a podcast, Walking the Floor. And he has fun doing it and interviewing folks and does a really good job at it. And if you're a Foo Fighter fan, you may not even know that podcast is out there.
No, that's a great take on it. I didn't even think of that angle, that it's not the celebrity ruining it. It is someone telling the celebrity, you're a celebrity, you have to have a podcast.
Yeah, you don't want that.
How many different podcasts do you listen to, Rob?
Well, there's some, I would say how many I listen to regularly and then how many I listen to is big difference between the numbers.
Sure.
I'm always listening to different ones, but I listen to a few history ones religiously. Hardcore History just released a new episode on Friday, and I can't wait because I get to do yard work tomorrow, so I'll be listening to it throughout the yard work. So I'll listen to that when I'm doing yard work. I listen to the All In podcast, Jason Calacanis and Chamath and those guys. And there's a bunch of other ones in history that I like. Revolutions podcast with Mike Duncan is a really good one. A World War II podcast. So those are the history really is my main genre for relaxing and just chilling. If I don't want to be doing, my distraction, go out, do yard work around the house, have that going. And then when I'm working during the day, I'm always just sampling a lot of different podcasts. Roseanne Barr, I like hers as well. She's funny. I never know what she's going to say.
I bet our folks would like history podcasts. We should put that in a newsletter.
I'm kind of sad that you didn't mention me.
Always comes back.
Wow.
Always comes back to Kim.
No, I get it, Rob. I'm just giving you a hard time. What do you listen to, Andrew?
I listen to The Yak. I bet you all the podcasts I name you've probably never heard. I listen to The Yak. I listen to Part of My Take. I listen to Comedy Bang Bang. Those are my big three. My religious Doug Loves Movies is one of my favorite. You're looking at me like I'm speaking in Portuguese.
Doug Loves Movies is a great one. Yes.
And that's a phenomenon. It's a game show based on movies that's hosted by a comedian, and it is just a game he made up. It's fabulous.
I'll have to try. I like to try that one.
You won't like it.
The Dollop is another good one there if you want comedy and history.
The Dollop, okay. I've never even thought to. I am so deep in sports and comedy podcasts. I never even thought, there's got to be some great history podcasts out there. I want to read that. Put it in the newsletter so then I can read it.
You didn't subscribe to the newsletter.
Put it in the newsletter, then independently send it to me, and then send it to everybody else.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, this is great. And so if anybody is listening right now and they're thinking, you know what, I could have my own podcast, what would you say to them?
Okay, so this is what I said to my son when he was 5.5, because he came to me and he was 5.5 and he said, Dad, I want to do a podcast. And I gave him 2 questions he had to answer. And he answered them. And I said, Porter, what do you want to call it? He goes, Porter's Podcast. I go, all right, you got a name. And I go, what is it going to be about? He goes, I want to answer people's questions. So he had a format and he had a name. You cannot do a podcast until you answer those 2 questions. Once you answer those 2 questions, everything else is just paint by numbers. There's so many tutorials out there that'll help you get going. And if you have questions, people can email me, rob@libsyn.com, libsyn.com, and I'll send them tutorials on how to get going. But really, you need to answer that question. What do you want to call it? What's it going to be about?
And Porter's downloads are what? 500,000 a month?
Well, Porter's now 16 and he stopped doing the podcast when it didn't become cool.
Just like everybody else gave up.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, but he did it at 5.5, so anybody can do it at any age is what I'd like to say. And then the other thing is, um, don't a lot of people they don't want to do a podcast that's already been covered. And I always say, well, if that's the case, then think about it. I Dream a Genie and the Munsters would never have happened because they were really just Bewitched and the Addams Family. So you can have your own personality you bring to the show, even if it's the same topic someone else is already covering.
Well, that's true. I mean, there are a lot of tech podcasts.
Yeah.
There are a lot of tech shows.
I think 380,000 of the 390,000 are Murderino podcasts. So yeah, you can double up if you need to.
Absolutely.
But there's only one tech podcast that's number 3 in
Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Yeah. Just cover your mouth when you say it.
Yeah, it's the number 3 podcast in a really in an emerging country.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
In a big country.
I think it's one of the most populated countries that starts with R. I think that's where we're looking at.
Oh gosh, it's always great to have you here, Andrew. Rob, thanks for being here. And again, you want to give out your email address?
Sure. Rob, R-O-B, as in Robert, at Libsyn, L-I-B-S-Y-N, which stands for Liberated Syndication. And Rob at Libsyn.com, and happy to answer any questions you have about podcasting and
That's sweet.
help
That's
you get going.
Yeah.
You could be the 390,001 podcast.
Okay. You got it. Thanks, Rob. Let me tell you, Libsyn is a great company. We've tried other distributors, and they are by far the best to work with. I think because they're not like this big, massive corporation.
Yeah.
That if you have any issues, you have any questions. I mean,
the number of times I've just seen Kim or Jeremy or someone having a video call with Rob.
yeah,
He's great.
and it's like so Rob, are we in the right category?
Yeah.
And is it could we be doing this better on Apple? And what about Advercast? And how does that work? And I mean, so it's always nice to have somebody who's like super smart.
Yeah, he was super smart.
Yeah.
To be able to be on your side, unlike you.
Us.
Oh, not us, just you.
Oh, dang.
It was you.
I get it now.
Hey, it's Kim Komando Today. It's your fun podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're getting the audio version of this podcast, we love you for that. And just a quick reminder that you can also get the video version. It's around everywhere on the internet, but I think the best place for you to get the video version is at youtube.com/KimKomando. youtube.com/KimKomando. When you're there, just hit that big old subscribe button because we were looking at charts yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, our subs on YouTube are going like,
They are
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like a month ago that you're like, we're not getting enough traction. We need to do this. You need to start doing this. You think you can put a wig on during the podcast? This is
that's
great
next
to
week.
hear. Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. That's great to hear.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
and also because Matt's doing such a great job with the video.
Yes.
Her reels
totally.
and her videos are
So
awesome.
funny. Yeah.
Love that. All right, so what do you got?
The CEO of a company called SoftBank was sitting around and he had
Big
a problem. His employees were stressed. They were overworked and they were stressed out. And not all of his employees, a certain select group, the customer service reps.
I would never want to be a customer service.
No.
That is such a difficult
Especially
job.
because I've been a customer on the other end and I'm awful. And so I wouldn't have to deal with me all day. And he was trying to figure out how could he fix this problem. And he was a big anime fan. And he's like, well, if everyone who called in had the voice of one of his favorite, very calm demeanor, slow pace speaking, if everyone had that voice, then my employees wouldn't be stressed out. And he had the idea. Could I use artificial intelligence to manipulate the voice of angry customers to make them sound calm so that the customer service reps did not have to deal with that?
And so instead of saying, I didn't get my friggin' package.
Right. No, it'll still say, I didn't get my freaking package, but it'll be, I didn't get my freaking package.
Oh.
So what he did is he hired an AI company and they found 10 actors. And those 10 actors read 100 pieces of dialogue. That's it.
Okay.
They put that in the AI machine, whiz bang boom, 10,000 different words popped out from each one of
Wow.
the 10 actors. So now we're looking at a database of 100,000 words, 10 different actors. Caller calls up, they're yelling that their deposit didn't clear or whatever, and they're going crazy. The AI recognizes that it is a stressful call, takes over, and the customer service rep, instead of hearing the customer, hears a voice that is much more calmer, slower, and it doesn't stress them out. Now, they didn't go super soft. Like, it's not, a little baby voice. Like, I want help. It is, there still is a little bit of anger in the AI voice so that the customer service rep knows that the person on the other side of the phone is really angry, but they don't have to deal with it.
They don't have to get yelled at.
Isn't that crazy?
It's actually a pretty good idea.
It is a good idea.
Absolutely. To take that investment and think about your employees and put it in. Now, they also implemented one more thing, is that if it goes to like DEFCON 10 and the customer is just a complete Karen, a automated voice plays to the customer, we are going to disconnect your service if you continue to act this way.
Ooh, timeout share.
Right.
Love
and
that.
normally, the customer will react, calm down, and solve the problem with the customer app. But I think it's so cool. That's a good use of AI, a not going to kill us or be completely inaccurate use of AI.
Does the voice only kick in if it's an angry call?
Yes.
Okay.
Only if it's
So if
needed.
I called, I was pleasant.
Yes. Then it would just operate as a normal call.
So
Amazing.
does the person have to say I need the AI to
No.
soften this? It does automatically.
Artificial intelligence is listening to the call at all times. They're monitoring the voice level, the words used, everything that's happening, and they decide, the computer decides when it's time to go ahead and put in the AI voice.
That's
Wow.
fascinating.
It's really neat.
I had to call Audi's customer service.
Did you?
Yeah, it answered in 4 rings.
At least she didn't say, you know what, or here's the thing.
Speaking of calls,
God, I hate you both. Okay, then you have the
We're going to Twitter and close?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, it's Kim Komando Today. You know the drill. Make sure that you get our free newsletter. You can still enter to win that new iPhone over at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Or you can go to getkim.com if you don't want to enter to win the iPhone because maybe you want a Pixel, maybe you want a Samsung. Maybe we should give away a Samsung next time.
This phone is so fast.
let's do it next time and we'll say this phone is so fast it got Andrew to switch from an iPhone.
It seriously did.
Okay, but he doesn't get the newsletter, so he has no credibility.
I had to buy my own. I didn't
That's
even
really
get to
good
win
point.
one.
Sorry. All right, so what do you got?
Remember last week we were talking about X, Twitter, whatever you want
Yes.
to call it? And they're like, basically, we're now the wild, wild west for pornography.
Because we can't make money any other way.
If you're two consenting adults and you want to have adult entertainment on your page, go ahead. The only thing is you can't have your profile picture or your banner being porn. Tell me if you think this is a coincidence. Starting today, not all across the board, it'll start showing up on some people's platforms, but slowly build to every user. Likes will no longer be seen. So if I go on and I see a piece of porn, and I'm like, that's some great porn.
A piece of porn. It's like a piece of pie, a piece of pizza,
Fried chicken.
Whatever you're
yeah,
into.
a piece of cheese.
If I see some porn, I'm like, that's some great porn.
Or anything else. It's
Yeah.
not just porn posts, right? Okay.
Anything.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Yeah.
Well, someone then can click on the post, click on the likes, and see everybody who liked it. Well, now you won't be able to see that anymore.
Okay.
Elon Musk says the reason why they want to do this is he wants to get rid of likes altogether. He thinks likes are obsolete when it comes to social media now. It's all about impressions and views, and likes really don't matter, and it's not really part of their algorithm on how they push something. But he thinks that there's too many bullies. There's too many like bullies that go out there and find what people that they don't like on Twitter and then make fun of them for it. And that's the reason why he's getting rid of it.
He's not. He's so full of it.
It's the porn.
So what's the real reason then?
Elon wants to be able to like
Yes.
the porn posts and not get caught.
Probably.
Elon wants to stop having headlines about some weird thing he liked on his own website.
Probably. Now, as a poster, if you are on there, you'll be able to see who liked your post, but no one else will. It'll all be hidden. But they said they're working towards all those stats underneath those posts. That's all going to go away. Likes, shares, retweets.
He's
all
just
of it.
blowing up the site. I mean, it's not.
No.
He's
For what purpose?
When is it RIPX? When is
Yeah.
this going to happen?
pretty soon.
Why?
Pretty soon.
What do you mean he's blowing up the site?
Oh, meaning well, first of all, he overpaid for it by, I don't know, $30 billion.
Right.
Okay. Which is more than, us paying I bought the eggs for $12
Right.
instead of $8. Okay. And
But when you say blowing up, do you mean he's trying to get it to fail?
I think he is. I don't know.
I just don't think this is a good fit for his business acumen.
Yeah.
Because the plan for X on the beginning was to be the all-income. They were going to have rideshare, and they were going to have a search engine.
Well, now he's turned into a porn site.
Right, and he's not doing any of those things what he paid $40 billion for in the beginning.
Well, because he knows none of us would use the Elon Everything app. Would you put all of your information in the Elon app?
I don't even use Twitter, so...
There you go. That's a no for you. It's a no for you.
I never get to see any pieces of porn because I'm not on there.
Really? You just said that with a straight face?
I said on there.
Okay.
On Twitter.
I was.
Have
There's pieces of
have
porn
you come
everywhere
across
else.
any on your timeline?
I haven't looked.
Huh.
She's getting off it.
Yeah, I think I'm getting off it. I told John we're not paying for that stupid blue check mark
No.
anymore.
No, it doesn't mean anything
Silly.
anymore.
All right, so this past week we had the big Apple
Mhm.
reveal that we've talked about here, and we've written about it in the newsletter. And you're gonna have
Indeed.
more information about it on the show this weekend. And Allie and I were talking about the presentation itself, how much money and effort and energy, how much they practice.
It is nuts. This thing is a production.
It is.
Yeah,
It's a
if
show.
you haven't
I mean, it's
watched
a
it,
big
seriously,
show.
yeah, you should watch like a few minutes of it because it's crazy. They have skits. They have.
But it's so overproduced. It's
I know
so
it's
fake.
nuts. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everything that you see, like what the iPhone does, it's not happening in real time.
No, of
No, of
course,
course not. Yeah.
This
They
is-
can't risk
No.
what would happen.
And when I was watching it, I was amazed at one feed on NBC News because I was, I'd go onto YouTube and then I close it and I go back
Yeah.
or whatever.
Mhm.
And so NBC News feed had like 700,000 people watching at that moment.
Wow.
No kidding.
Okay. Apple's feed had over 1 million. Okay. Now, just think, this is a portion of our population that is watching a commercial.
Right.
Yes, an hour and 45-minute commercial.
Right.
Well, and so I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if everybody thinks about this like we did because we do podcasts, broadcasters. The way they speak is so specific and so weird that it really catches your ear, I guess, and makes you kind of like, huh. It's clear that they all do some training, right?
Yes.
So
A lot of media training happening.
yes, they all sound the same. So I thought you two, seasoned broadcasters, could you be a WWDC presenter? So to find that out,
Okay.
I have a couple lines. I'm going to have you read them. Kim has two. You have one. I'm going to have you read it, and we'll see. Did you kind of hit the mark?
What's the goal? Like, what are we going for here?
You're going for confidence,
confident.
Yep.
Okay.
articulate, very articulate.
Articulate.
That'll be a struggle for me.
You want some dramatic pauses
Oh, okay.
where they make sense. You really want the listener hanging on your words. That's what
Okay.
you're going for.
And I've
Yeah.
never seen what
Gravitas.
you're about
You've
to
never
hand me.
seen
I've never
this.
seen
No.
this.
So we're going to start with Kim. So this is actually so this guy, Craig Federighi or something, he's the one they call him Air Force One.
Oh,
So
This-
these are scripts right out of the
Oh,
Apple presentation.
This is from the presentation. Yes. So this guy, this is when he is introducing. We'll call this a softball, Kim. I think you're going to get this one. This is when they are talking about the new AI.
okay. Let's take a closer look at Apple Intelligence, starting with its incredible capabilities.
I'm going to give her a thumbs up.
That was really fast, though.
Okay.
Oh, she got a point.
I think that was a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to judge
Can
where
we- do
I
we
need to
have
be
him?
at.
We do. Let's hear Craig give it.
Okay.
Let's take a closer look at Apple Intelligence, starting with its incredible capabilities.
Oh, yeah. That was so
he
much
was
slower.
higher and slower.
Yes. Here, it'd be like, let's take a closer look at Apple Intelligence, starting with its incredible capabilities.
Oh, there you go.
That was
Take
nailed
two.
it. Take
was
two. She nailed it.
A winner.
Okay, Andrew. We're going to hear from Cyrus, who's a product and dev guy. He's talking about Genmoji, those fancy new
Genmoji.
custom emoji.
Leveraging the power of Apple Intelligence, you can create Genmoji on device. This is not even a great sentence.
I know.
Okay. You can create Genmoji on device right in the keyboard and match any moment perfectly.
Ooh,
That was actually
good.
pretty. I don't know
This
if
is
it's
so poorly written.
I know this is the sentence he read.
Okay.
For the break, for the pause, we're going to give Andrew a thumbs down.
Thumbs down on the pause?
No,
Um,
when you said this is
Oh,
badly
the
written.
interrupted?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
that's fair.
let's
That's
hear
fair.
Cyrus.
Leveraging the power of Apple Intelligence, you can create Genmoji on device right in the keyboard and match any moment perfectly.
Any
what he
moment
did. Yeah,
perfectly.
I see what he
That's
did
one of the
there.
big things. It's like they have a period after each
Yeah, I
sentence.
wouldn't get this job.
Any
Okay,
moment
one more
perfect.
from Craig. This is about Apple Intelligence
This is a big one.
and your apps.
Okay, I'm gonna try
Don't
to.
mess this up.
I'm gonna
Kim.
try to go back in time.
Okay,
Channel.
Craig.
Rick. What is his name?
Craig.
Craig. Rick. Whatever.
It's the same name.
From a big leap forward for Siri to powerful tools for writing and communication and fun visual ways to express yourself. Let's start with Siri.
I'm going to give that a thumbs up. Mostly because Kim knows how to say what I call Siri. Siri. You got it right every time. That was beautiful, Kim.
That was good.
Thank
Let's
you.
hear from Craig.
From a big leap forward for Siri to powerful tools for writing and communication and fun visual ways to express yourself. Let's start with Siri.
Okay.
You
I
said
figured
fun
it out.
like he said fun.
I figured it out, though.
What is it?
Who's that huge man that is a motivational speaker?
Oh,
Tony Robbins?
Tony
They
Robbins.
They all sound like Tony Robbins.
Oh my gosh, you're
Every
right.
single one of them sounds like Tony Robbins.
Do you think Tony trained them all?
Probably.
We should try to find out.
See, like, you know what? If you wanted to say this, like, not like that, you'd
Mhm.
say from a big leap forward for Siri to
Mhm.
powerful tools for writing and communication and
Right.
fun visual ways to express yourself. I mean, it's not like, but you have to have that pause.
But also, I would never say, you want to create Jamoji on device. I don't
Jamoji.
say on device.
I know they say weird things too. Also, this reminded me that emoji is the singular and the plural, not emojis. They
What's
say
a Jamoji?
A genmoji is a generative emoji. So say you're
Quick question. What's a generative Jamoji?
I'm about to tell you. You're texting Kim. Kim says something about her new purple hat. You're looking for a purple hat emoji. I think there is one, but whatever. There isn't. And so you can type in purple hat and it will make you an emoji of that thing. So you
Yes.
can make emojis for whatever you want.
That's pretty cool.
So I
Yeah.
could send you like an eye roll.
But you can make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Eye roll
now,
exists.
But
These
now
we're giving-
you're on a Samsung.
Yeah, I got AI built in my phone. Don't you worry. I'll be AI all over the place.
He's full
I
of
got a pen.
generatives.
I got a little pen. I circle something on the screen. Boom, it searches for it.
You're going to be
Yeah.
a stylist man now?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Look at him.
embarrassing.
Not embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's the future.
You have a little pencil.
Don't mock my pencil again.
All right, folks. So I won't be here on Friday because I'm going to get fitted for my contact lens on my eyeball.
So
I
exciting.
know. I'm so excited.
Do you need me to teach you how to put in contacts?
Yes.
Okay, I will.
That's one of my things that last time I tried to put in a contact was a long time ago and it got stuck in the back of my eye.
Oh.
And so I have like this fear
yeah,
of that
it's happened to the
happening.
best of us.
Are you getting glasses just in case?
I told the doctor, I said, I really just want glasses.
And
He's
he said
like-
no, right?
He said, no, you're going to want the contact. I looked at him like, no, you don't understand. I'm going to want the glasses. I said, I don't mind wearing glasses. And then I was talking to my friend Joe yesterday, and Joe said, well, what you should do is you should get a contact lens for your left eye and your right eye.
Why?
And she said, well, the left eye, you could get a soft contact lens that you could wear for like a month. Then you could see in
Oh,
long
okay.
distance.
So you only have to change one side.
Yeah, but see, the problem is
Oh,
that,
you have to get a hard contact?
yes,
I don't know what that means. Is that bad?
they're hard.
They're hard.
Oh.
My contacts, I can just like fold them up. and-
No, this is a
Yeah, that sounds
because
like
they
it
okay.
sucks.
Here's the medical scientific reason why.
Okay.
Okay. So here's my cornea.
Mhm.
Okay. Everybody else's cornea is like this, so it's flat.
Okay.
Okay. Mine has like a little bump or two.
Okay.
So the whole idea is that the hard lens is going to push down on that.
So is it therapeutic as well? Is it reshaping your eye by wearing
No,
the
and he said it can give you a headache. I
Oh,
mean,
so many positives.
yes.
But it would be nice on something like a hike where you don't want to wear glasses.
I don't mind wearing glasses.
All right, fine.
Just saying.
No one's going to convince her. She's going to be like the Apple Watch. She's going to buy a bunch of contacts, stick them in a drawer, never wear them, and wear glasses.
That's exactly what's going to happen. I got to call Roger.